We're building castle in the air here, right? Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, let me try to go back again because this video is very important for you to, you once you play it at home, you listen, you watch it, you should be able to understand what we are doing. Right. So yeah, you should be able to know the needs of your customers. Right? Like I said, it starts from the needs. Right? When you are hungry, you need to eat something. You're looking for the best way. Hello, guys, listen, listen, listen. Sit down quietly. Sit down quietly. You are on air. Go to the bathroom quietly. Okay, it's all right. It's all right. Okay, no problem. Oh, it's a pity I don't have. Okay, guys. So what is going to happen is this. I'm hungry, right? There's a need there. I need to eat. Do you understand? Now I will be looking for the best way to make sure that I satisfy that urge that needs to eat. That is where wants is coming in. Right. Now the marketer will look at your wants and try to influence it in order to create a kind of a demand. Right. A demand is wants backed by the ability to pay. You might want something if you don't have money, it cannot be converted into a demand. It becomes a mere wish. Right. So, like what I said, I'll focus. You need to be able to establish correctly, right, the needs of the customers. Right. Because you cannot influence their needs. Right. I cannot make you to be hungry. No. But if you are hungry, I can influence your wants. But as you are hungry now, you want food, I can bring different types of food, right? To sell to you, to market it to you, right? Then you make your choice. If you got the money to buy it, then you buy it, it becomes a demand. Does it make sense to you? Right. So, like I said, it's very important for you to do a survey, right? Surveying the opinion for the new venture product. Why we use this language here, or what does this language connote? Is this? Remember, I told you when we say new venture is a new business, right? When this is a new business, the product you are selling or you are making, it means it's new, right? To the customers. They might not even know about it, right? But perhaps you started selling to them, but you need to go out there either to market it to them or to establish from there whether they are happy, right, with the usage of your product and how are they using it. Do you understand? You need to follow up. We say, why should a new business do a market research? It's obvious because you need to reach out. Right. Answer. Because it will help the entrepreneurs to, does it make sense to you? One, understand the various business environment. You must know the business environment. What does it entail? Right? Your target market, the profiling. Anticipate any changes within this environment. Right? For example, when you look at the way the world is going now, let's say, let me say specifically the business environment in South Africa or around here now. There are a lot of factors outside that are changing the environment. If yourself as a business owner, you don't know what is happening, I'm telling you, you will end up taking decisions that are not in pace with the current trend. For example, now you see there is no petrol. In some areas now there is no petrol because of what is happening globally, right? Yourself, you need to know because you see, life is dynamic. Something can be in abundance today, tomorrow that thing might not be there. So you need to keep track of what is happening in the environment, right? How will you be able to do that? It's through research. Do you understand what I mean? When we are talking about research, it doesn't necessarily just end by you designing questionnaires, administering your questionnaires to your target market, collecting it, before you know, or before we can say that you've done a research. You can do a research in several ways. Do you understand? You, as a business owner, listening to news to collect information in terms of the global trend, you are doing a research. You are collecting data, right? When we say doing research, it means you are collecting information, processing the information to make the informed decision about your business. Do you understand? It can either be formal or informal. It can either be structured or unstructured. As long as you are getting information to help you in making decisions relating to your business, it's a research. You understand what I mean? So you need, right, to be able to anticipate any change within this environment. Based on your data you collected or you analyze, you should be able to anticipate that maybe this thing can happen. Do you understand? We need, as a business person, to be able to project beyond. Right? You mustn't be what we call myopic. Myopic. When they say somebody is myopic, only focus on within without projecting beyond. You must be futuristic. You must remove blinkers from your eyes. You know, blinkers, the horse. You know, horse. They put blinkers in their eyes. You know why? They put blinkers to avoid distraction. You, as a human being or as a business person, you mustn't put blinkers in your eyes. You need to see beyond. Do you understand what I mean? You're doing research, right? Because research creates knowledge. When you do research, right, you are accumulating knowledge. You know, it gives you that know for you to be able to make a informed decision on knowing. Right. Focus the impact and the direction of these changes. When you see people that are very clever or that are taking good decisions, it's because they know what is going happening. They are at pace with the current trend. Do you understand what I mean? Right? Yeah. That is why I tell you, you must listen to news. Local news, global news. You know what is happening. Because even some people don't even know that there's war here. There's war in the Middle East. Right? Nobody, some people don't know. They are just living. You know, before they know, they say the prices of there is no petrol again, or there is no gas. They say, "Wow, what is happening now?" You don't know because if you've known, you are going to buy as you stock because you know what is happening. You were able to read the trend that perhaps in few days time there will be shortage of such item. Then you're gonna stock it, right? So knowing is very important. Then make changes to the current business plan to fit in with these changes in the environment. Right. A new venture, as we said, new business. Obviously, one of the requirements is for you to have a business plan. Does it make sense to you? Right? In the real sense of it, what does a business plan contains? What does it entail? How you intend to run the business, right? In a more futuristic manner. Futuristic in the sense that how you intend to run it in future, right? Okay. Now there are trends in the environment, changes in the circumstance. You need to incorporate those changes in your business plan. Otherwise, your business plan will become obsolete. You know what I mean by obsolete? Become outdated. When we say obsolete, you know how to spell obsolete? I spell it for you. Obsolete. You know it. Obsolete. Oh, it's become outdated. Outdated. Yeah. Huh? But you know what is outdated, right? Yeah. So if you are not in pace with the trend, you're gonna be left behind. Do you understand? How can you be making decisions based on what happened? You are making decision for tomorrow based on what happened 5 days ago. You should be able to know what is going to happen tomorrow. Although we are human beings, we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. But based on the trend, you can be able to forecast. You understand what we mean? So these are the things we are talking about. Why am I saying all these things? Right? I'm emphasizing this to tell you that business research is very important as far as a new business is concerned. Does it make sense to you? Right? Or we are talking too much here? Okay. And it will also help the entrepreneur to investigate whether customers will buy a new product. Right? It will help you to investigate. Right? Are they going to buy this new product I'm trying to introduce? Perhaps yes, perhaps no. You don't know. But how will you know? You must go out there and ask. You don't sit in your bedroom and start gesticulating. You know how to gesticulate? You guess. Maybe they're gonna buy from me. They're gonna like my product. No, you must go out there. We need what we call evidence based. You know, evidence based, factual, right? It must be evidence based. Do you understand? Why existing, younger? Why existing products are not selling? Right? How will you know whether what is the problem that makes your existing product not selling? You must go and ask them. They will tell you, say, my friend, you see, that food is too salty. That is why we don't like to buy from you. The magunya is too oily. Like last time, what happened to me? I saw a magunya. They call it a magunya. No, not magunya pie. No. There was something chicken pie, right? It's like they use it in form of magunya. Then I say, what is this? They say this chicken. Oh no, it's a magunya chicken mayo, something like that. You know, when I look at it, I say, okay. I was tempted, right? I was tempted. They tempted me, right? Then I bought it. When I was eating it, I discovered that that thing is full of oil. I said, next time I'm not gonna buy this thing again. It was too oily. I said, no man, I can't buy this thing again. All this stuff of deep fry, I don't eat that deep fry stuff. Right? Okay, now me, I've made my decision. Would they know if they don't come out to ask people like me why you not buying or what is happening? Would they know where the problem is? I'm keeping the problem to myself. My complaint is with me. So when they come to me, I will tell them that my friends, that thing is too oily. Try to look for a way to work on it. Otherwise, it's something good. But the only problem is too much oil. You know, this kind of stuff. Right. Perhaps it must have happened to you one way or the other, right? You know what I'm talking about. Right. Then better methods of marketing existing product. Better methods of marketing existing product. You know, when we are talking about marketing here, we got different types of marketing strategies, right? It's when you know your customers very well, their profile, then you know how to market your product, how to reach out to them. If you don't know that majority of your target market are youth, right? Will you know how to reach out to them? Because youth, like I said, they are much more inclined, right, to social media. They are social media biased. They like using social media. If I want to reach out to them, I cannot advertise through radio. Of course, if I do that, I'm wasting my money. It's not gonna work. So it can help you. Changes in customers' needs. Younger. We say, listen. Taste, taste and preferences always change. For example, now, you see what I'm wearing now, right? Why am I wearing the? For the past 2 months, I have not been wearing something like this. Yeah. Now because the it's cold, right? The preferences now, my tastes have changed, right? It's like that. Is dynamic. You see, yourself as a business owner, you need to know all these dynamic stuff. You need to be able to navigate it for you to be able to be in business, right? It's cold. You are still selling clothes that are for winter, for summer. I mean, if it is cold, you must bring something that people can wear and to keep themselves warm, right? So if you are still selling something that people used to wear to go to the beach, all those bikini stuff, you think they're gonna buy from you? They're not gonna buy from you. So you need to be able to reflect with the trend. That is what we are talking about, right? You need to research and see that their needs, customer needs are changing. You see, and that is why you see Samsung. I always like to give as an example of Samsung and Vodacom, not Vodacom, Nokia. Those days we were using Nokia, right? Now, Nokia, they fail to innovate. They fail to realize that the customer needs are changing. We want something that is fast and supersonic. We don't want anything slow stuff. You see, we want things that are automatic, robotic applications, AI. You see, they do it for you. Self-service, right? If you are still operating on that level, in that space, where you say, no, I'm going to do this. No, you need to automate most of your activities, your routine activities, to save time for you to do some other stuff. So, based on that, you see, customers' needs are changing. Yourself must be able to keep up with the trend. Otherwise, you will be left behind. It's like a train that is moving from here to Pretoria, right? You must jump in. It's going. Otherwise, you'll be left behind. So you need to know. Then whether there is a risk of new competitors coming into the same market. How will you know? You do a research. You know, this one is very important because if you are the only provider in the market, there's what we call 100% share, right? The percentage share will be 100%. For example, if I have a cake here now, right? One piece, like if I got a cake, I say it's for only two of you, right? You are going to do jolly jolly today because you're gonna have a big share, a big portion that you can get from the cake, right? Because perhaps 50-50, or if you are the one that eat too more than has, then you can have maybe 60 herself, 40, right? So if I say this cake is for the whole class, even yourself gonna be cross. How can you buy one cake for the whole of us here? Right? Because at the end of the day, your share gonna be very little. Does it make sense to you? It's the same thing in business. When new competitors, new entrants are entering the business, selling the same stuff with you, it means that they're gonna eat from your cake. Do you understand what I mean? They are going in to eat from your cake. So you must know what to do to make sure that you preserve yours, what belongs to you. Otherwise, they're gonna take from you. Did you see? How will you know that? You need to do a research. You need to go out to find out so that you know how to design your marketing strategy. Does it make sense to you? So research is very important. Then market research involves what? Right. Identifying what the market problem or opportunity is. Right? What problems do we have in the market, in the business, or in the environment, in the business environment? Right? If there are problems, then you need to look for a way to solve the problem. And once you are able to find a solution to solve the problem, you win the game. Then you start making money. You see what I mean? That is why I always tell people if you want to start doing a business, don't do what many other people have been doing. You do a unique stuff. right? Don't be selling sweet that every Dick and Harry is selling sweet on the street. You sell something that is different, then you're gonna make money, right? So identify what the market problem is, diagnose the problem in the business environment, and then provide solution. There you win. Or you look for the opportunities, leverage the opportunity. You know what we mean by leverage? To take advantage of the opportunity. To leverage, right? Like I told you before, during the time of COVID, some people were scared. Even myself, I was scared. Do you understand? But I was praying a lot as well, right? People were scared to go out, right? Some people, then they look at it. It was a problem as such, on one hand. Then on the other hand, it was an opportunity. So you scared, you stay at home. Then I'm gonna get it and deliver to you, but must be prepared to pay me, right? People went into online business. You see, sitting at the comfort of your home as you are scared, no problem, but you must pay. They deliver to you. That is why you see online these days, e-business, right? You see what is happening all over. Yesterday I was passing through a place in Cape Town. I saw a lot of this bike that are doing delivery, right? I said, you see, there are opportunities, you know, digital economy. We call it digital economy. There are a lot of opportunity. Yourself can become a billionaire tomorrow. Yeah, yes, because if you leverage, right, the available opportunity in the digital economy, you can become a billionaire. Do you understand what I mean? You see, those days, you need to work hard. Work hard for you to become a millionaire, billionaire. These days, you need to work smart. You need to work smart. Do you understand what I mean? You see? And when you see somebody, don't ever underrate that person. Tomorrow, you see that guy, then you start wondering, hey, that guy, how comes? I'm not talking about doing illicit business, genuine, legit business. You know, because for example, now maybe you got a song now, you know how to sing. You will think that your voice is not good, right? You make a nice sing something and put it on YouTube on air. Then people, before you know how the population of the world is 8 point something billion. Out of that 8 point something billion, you see some people like it. They start making money. I gave you an example of that Senegalese. That guy, he doesn't even speak English, right? He speaks broken English. And he's a French guy. 2020, during the time of COVID, he was a hustler. You know, hustler in France as an immigrant. You know how tough the life of an immigrant in another man's country. Himself with the parents, they were there. Where he was working in the factory, then he was put on redundancy. Let me explain to you what we mean by redundancy. Because, for example, if the business is not going well, right, you have to lay off, right? He was laid off from where he was working as a worker. Then he came home, a young smart guy like you, right? What can he do? Then he started playing. He got a cell phone. Then he looked for all these common stands. This stand you can buy it 100 rand or 50 rand. Then he sat on his room and started making funny stuff. This guy is not something that is putting something educational. Funny stuff. Now he started growing. TikTok, he put it on TikTok. Then he started having subscribers. You know how many subscribers that guy got? 300 million subscribers. 300 million. Now there is a company in Singapore. They look at the potential of this guy, right? This, they came up, they said they want to buy the right of this guy. They want to create a twin of that guy because they discovered that that guy is so important in the world now. People like him. Any small thing he does, people are laughing. And his voice, that is why I tell people in life, try to be natural. Don't say, I want to speak like the Americans. I want to speak slang. No, use your natural voice. If people going to like it, they will like it. That boy, this company said they like his voice. They like his character, the way he talks. Then they are creating a robot that look like him, that talk like him, that reason like him. A twin. You know how much they paid this guy? Almost $1 billion. Put it in your calculator and convert it to rand. Your calculator will say, I don't know anything about this. It's too much. Imagine. Your calculator cannot calculate your money. Say error. I don't know anything about this. Too much for me. Did you see? 2020, this guy was like a church rat. You know, church rat. A rat you find in the church is hungry. Yeah, he's poor because there is no food there. Right? It's an idiomatic expression. When you tell somebody is poor like a church rat, that means he's living in an abject poverty. Right? That guy was as poor as a church rat, 2020, but today is a billionaire. He's a younger. What type of business that can give you that type of money? Digital economy. Do you understand? You know? So those kind of stuff that we are talking about. So then, what the marketing problem or opportunity is, why am I explaining that? Right? It's not, I'm not diverting. That guy leveraged the opportunity, right? Presented by digital economy to become somebody. You know, somebody like that now, when he's going home, he's president. They want to see him. You understand? Because he put the country map on the global scale. You see what I mean? You see 300 million subscribers. Imagine that. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to my stuff, man. And hit the like button. Perhaps, you may never know, one day we can be there as well. Right? Okay. Now, identify where to find the information needed. That is market research, right? Understanding, yeah. No, this one is in the slide. Yeah. Oh, it's 49. Good girl, I love that. I'm loving it, right? Okay. Understanding how to collect the information and interpret it. While doing your market research, right? You must identify where to find the information needed. Where will you find it? From your potential target market. Do you understand? When you got a new business, you want to find out something about your product or service, right? You don't go to a place that is not related to your target market. Otherwise, you collect those information and become more redundant, right? You're wasting your time. You must focus on the target market. Understanding how to collect the information and interpret it, right? Based on your target market, then you can be able, it will inform your decision in terms of how to collect those information, either through survey, by administrative questionnaires, or through one-on-one interview. I talk to you, then you talk to me, right? Or if it is something that you need to do a kind of informal conversation. You can use informal conversation to collect information for your business. You know about that, right? Just come to you. You wouldn't know that I want to collect information from you. Like the KGB, the CIA, right? FBI. When they come to you, start talking to you, you don't know. You are sitting in a bar, they are sitting with you there. Then you open your basket mouth, you start talking. Then they're collecting information. You wouldn't know. You know, you can use that kind of a strategy. Open, we call it informal conversation. I've just chatting with you. Then I collect information. Or you can use a kind of a observation, right? You just walk in and start watching. You know, You can use that. Like what I told the previous class just now. I know a guy now. This guy was a manager in Spa in Tableview. Just 1 kilometer, not even up to 1 kilometer, let me say roughly 600 meters away. Yeah, you have a competitor there, which was Pick and Pay, right? This manager was very strategic, very clever. You know what he used to do? He will go to Pick and Pay and start looking for the items that are not in the shelf. Very clever guy. When he will write down. Then he will go and purchase those things and put it in his shop and put a very good price. So when customers go to Pick and Pay, those things are not there, they will be forced to go to Spar to buy those stuff. You see how strategic, right? How was he able to do that? He did a kind of a research, right? By going there to observe, right? You need to be strategic if you want to make money. That is why I say you must be smart, right? Okay. Then you collect information, you should be able to interpret it, making the decision based on the information. E.g., when to introduce a new product. When you've known the market very well, right? You know when to introduce a new product, right? You cannot introduce a new product when even the existing product you've introduced is not doing well, right? Or let's say, okay, let me put it this way. Even if it is doing well, right, you need to look at the market, study it very well, right? You cannot just start introducing a product successively, right, without giving it a little bit of time or without knowing the trend. You see what I mean? When you discover that the trend is changing in a supersonic form rapidly, right? What I mean by just changing quickly, then you can match it and it will say, okay, they will no longer need this now. They need another one. Do you understand what I mean? That you see, Samsung, I so much uh, appreciate. I love the model of Samsung. You see, every time they come with new model, Samsung, you know Samsung. You don't have a Samsung phone. Look at an example. Yeah, younger. What phone are you using? What phone are you using? Samsung. How many of you got? You see, majority of you are using that phone. Right. However it is pronounced, as long as you comprehend what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah, yeah. You know, can I tell you something? Can I tell you something about pronunciation? The way you pronounce is based on your dialect, your mother tongue. Right. For example, if you are Kosan, right, there will be a little bit of reflection in the tone in your pronunciation. You see what I mean? For example, when I was traveling along, I remember I was in this country. They call it Central African Republic, right? You see, the French I was speaking was more or less Senegalese French. They were able to pick it up that this guy is coming from Senegal, but I wasn't a Senegalese because that was where I learned how to speak the language. You see what I mean? So it must always be underlined. There must be that underlining tone that no matter what, it will still be there. Unless you want to impersonate. And I say you mustn't impersonate, right? You must be what you want to be, right? Like that guy now. Man. If he was trying to be like a Frenchman, maybe people wouldn't have loved his voice. It became natural. Over 300 million people love the way he talked. Right. Okay. Where to open or expand the business. So you need to be very strategic to know whether it is the right time for you to open the business or to expand it or whatever. So, how can you be able to make decisions, rational decision, if you like? You need to do your research. Very, very important, right? You know why sometimes it's difficult for most of these countries in Africa to innovate because they don't give priority to research and development. Right. On a more serious note, I'm talking something serious now. We don't, we tend to be retarded. You know what I mean by retard? Behind. Because we don't give priority to innovations, creativity and innovation. Is the period over? Okay, guys, we're gonna stop here. So far, so good. I believe we've done something great today. Right, tomorrow we're gonna continue from here. Planning a research project. Don't worry about it. Cause I need to sort out something here. Yeah, yeah. So no question. No question. Right. And I know some of you love it. Yeah. So you're gonna see yourself now on air. Yeah? Oh, I haven't sent it. I will send it. Okay, I thought I've done that. I thought I've done that. Yeah.